The world had grown loud again after the fall of the Tower of Babel. Nations spread across the earth, languages divided people, and slowly, the voice of God became distant to many. But in a land called Ur, beneath a sky filled with endless stars, there lived a man who had not yet forgotten how to listen. His name was Abram. He was not a king, not a warrior, not a man history would have chosen, just a man with a quiet life, a wife he loved, and a future that seemed already written. Then one night, without warning, everything changed. There was no storm, no fire, no trembling earth, only a voice that spoke not around him, but deep within him. Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. There was no map, no direction, no explanation, only a command, followed by a promise that seemed too great to understand. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Imagine standing in that silence, holding a promise that makes no sense, with a future you cannot see. Everything Abram had ever known stood behind him, and everything God spoke lay somewhere ahead, hidden in uncertainty. Days may have passed as doubt and fear crept into his thoughts, whispering questions with no answers. But eventually, Abram made a decision, not based on logic, not on proof, but on trust. He gathered what he could carry, took his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot, and began to walk away from everything familiar. He left behind comfort, security, and the life he had built, stepping into a journey with no clear destination. The road stretched endlessly before him, filled with dust, heat, and uncertainty. And yet, with every step forward, Abram declared something powerful without ever speaking the words aloud. I trust you. The journey was not easy. There were moments when the land felt empty and silent, when the promise seemed distant, and when the weight of the unknown pressed heavily on his spirit. He may have looked back at times, wondering if he had made a mistake, questioning if he had misunderstood the voice that called him. But even in those moments, he did not turn around. He kept walking. Then one night, under a sky that seemed to stretch into eternity, God spoke to him again. Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Abram lifted his eyes, and above him were countless lights, more than any man could ever number. Then God said, so shall your offspring be. And yet Abram stood there with empty hands, because he had no children, and his wife Sarai was barren. The promise felt impossible, almost beyond reason. But Abram did not argue. He did not demand proof. He chose to believe. In that moment, something eternal was established, not because Abram was perfect, but because he had faith. God made a covenant with him, a promise that would not fade with time, declaring, I will be your God, and you will be my people. And just like that, a wandering man became the beginning of a legacy that would shape generations. Because sometimes God does not call the strongest, the most prepared, or the most certain. Sometimes he calls the one who is willing to take a step into the unknown, trusting that the path will be revealed along the way. Abram's journey was not just across land, it was across belief, from certainty into faith, from the visible into the unseen. And maybe that is why this story still speaks today. Because we all face moments where the road ahead is unclear, where fear is loud, and where the future feels uncertain. But deep within, there is often a quiet voice calling us forward. The question is not whether the path is clear. The question is, will you take the first step?